What's up, guys? My name is Jeremy Brookover, and I'm a music video director. So, I finally have decided to make this video. Basically, I want to talk about some of the things that go involved in being a music video director, or just being a director at all. I think a lot of people misunderstand or don't fully understand what it takes to actually do music videos. I've actually taken the time and mapped out what exactly it costs to do a music video. Thinking in the sense that if you did the music video yourself, how much would it cost? So that'll kind of break it down and give you an idea of what exactly it takes to make a music video. So even just renting a camera. So I have Blackmagic, and just to rent a Blackmagic camera with basically the essentials is easily close to around $600. So right there is a big cost, $600 just for the camera. I mean, basic lightings, just you say you want to use Kino Flows, they're almost $160 just for two. And if you're going to do a full band shot, you're going to easily need four. I mean, sometimes more than that. But so there you go. That's $300. So you're at $900 already, and that's not even if you're counting renting studios or anything like that. Studios are normally $50 to $100 an hour. And I pulled up the numbers here, mostly because I shoot a lot in Texas. There's a studio called Brown Lane Studios, and they're $247 for a half day and around 500 for a full day. So, I mean, right there is racking up with taxes. I mean, you're looking at $1,200 just for the equipment alone. I mean, that's a pretty big chunk right there. Another thing that you have to take into account is that the editing time, or even the writing process, or even the shooting time. I mean, if I do a full-fledged music video, which is story and band shots, normally can take 2 days. I mean, you can shoot it in one day. However you look at it, you're going to spend at least 16 hours filming this whole music video. So you get 16 hours, and then I like to spend a week on music videos, on editing. I like to make sure everything's perfect, and then I go into the first rough draft, and then I go into the visual effects, or the cleaning up, the fixing, and then there's coloring. I mean, I spend at least a week. I would say that's a pretty good time frame. So, that's 40 hours. So yeah, I said 16 for the shooting, and now you got 40, so you get 46 right now. And the writing process, I mean, you want to expend at least like 6 hours working on just pre-production and getting everything ready. So that all adds up. And I actually looked at the minimum wage in Texas is $7.25. So if you take 62 times $7.25, which is the minimum wage, you're gonna get $450. So $450 added on to the $1,200, so you got $1,650 right there. So for $2,000, your director, so say if you're paying that director, is only making minimum wage. Like, just put that in perspective, like this guy is, or even me, we're fighting for you, and we're creating this amazing thing, and it gets very difficult. So, and I do this alone. So to think that adding on extra people into the process. I mean, if you hire a DP, a producer, makeup artist, I mean, that starts to all rack up. I mean, makeup artists can be $100, $150, $200 an hour just to have a makeup person on set. Producers can be $200 to $300 a day. DPs are $200 to $300. I mean, you get grips, they're about $100. But I mean, this stuff all starts to really add up. And I think a lot of people don't understand exactly what it takes to go in and doing a music video. If a director is doing it by himself, which is what I do generally, so I can keep the cost low for like unsigned bands, local artists, so that way they can actually have a chance to do a music video. It's hard. I mean, if I do a music video for $2,000, I'm making minimum wage, and I am busting my butt to do this thing. I mean, I'm working around the clock. I don't have hardly any breaks. I mean, I'm breaking my back literally for you for minimum wage, I think what happens is that bands see this large number when a music video director tosses it out and thinks of one person having to pay for that. And what I don't understand is most bands that I communicate with, so say I toss out $4,000, which is that's a pretty decent budget. $4,000 to $5,000, you can do a lot with that, and you actually can have a team. You can actually make a lot of things happen. But when I say $5,000, bands kind of like, whoa, man, that's a lot. That's really a lot of money. And I mean, I get $5,000 is a lot of money, and $4,000 is a lot of money. But the thing is that you have 5 members in the band. Just say hypothetically, why can't over the span of a month or two, maybe in 3 months, could each member save up $1,000? I mean, it's a little crazy. I get that, but you're wanting to be a successful musician. So why wouldn't you want to make it everything? You know, why wouldn't you want to put every ounce of you into that music video? I mean, you can hire me for $2,000 and I can do the best I can for that $2,000, but you're going to run into a lot of problems, such as I am producing, I'm writing, I'm directing, I'm shooting, I'm the DP, I'm the grip, I'm doing everything. So sometimes there's things that I miss, there's sometimes things that I don't catch, or there's times when I'm just completely exhausted and I overlook things. There's things like that that happens. I mean, that's just human nature. I mean, if you were doing a job completely by yourself, you're going to get exhausted and you're mentally kind of going to check out a little bit. And I think if you really want a director to be his fullest, give him the budgets that he can actually work with a team. You know, a DP is the guy manning the camera. He's making sure the lighting's proper. He's the one setting up the shots. And then you have grips who are actually running back and forth, setting up the equipment and getting the lights set up for the DP. And the director can work with the musicians and work with the artist and really pull out a solid scene from those people, and the director can make sure everything's perfect. I mean, you're going to get a much better product if you pay more. I mean, like I said, $5,000 is a lot of money. I get that. But if you're wanting this to be your career, if you're musicians and you want to be taken serious in this industry, you have to put the money into this. I know you probably hear that from everyone. You hear it from a producer when he's wanting you to record your album. You may hear that from management. You may hear that from record labels, anything like that. But from what I have noticed is that bands who actually take the time and spend the money to make their bands look as professional as possible are the ones that get signed, or the ones that blow up, the ones that make it big. I mean, for example, for Texas alone, look at the band Polyphia. Those guys, not only did they work extremely hard, but they knew that they had to spend the money to make something incredible. They didn't go the cheap route. They were just smart. I mean, they were intelligent guys, and like, they just knew the formula to making a successful band. They did it. And I think that their biggest thing is, like I said, they knew what it took to make a great product, and that was to spend the money and not go the cheap route, because people notice. I mean, you can see, I mean, I can notice, but I'm a music video director, but I would assume most other people can watch a music video and be like, you know, they kind of just went cheap on that one, you know? So yes, so I think that you would enjoy a lot more if you put the extra money into and actually making the product something amazing. Try not to think of it, oh, $5,000's a lot of money. Try to think of it, if I spend this $5,000, I'm gonna have this amazing video. I'm gonna have a great team behind me working on this video, making it everything that it can be. Also, by saying all this, I don't want it to seem like, oh, if you pay me $2,000 or if you pay me $5,000, I'm not gonna work equally as hard for either one of them. I don't do that. I'm not that type of director who, if I get a $10,000 budget, I go really hard and I work really hard and I give it my all, and then if I get a $2,000 budget, I just kind of, you know, half-ass it. That's not how I do things. If you give me a $2,000 budget, I guarantee you that I am going to work as hard for you as somebody who would pay me a lot more. The only thing that, as I said before, is that I think that what you're going to run into is that maybe I wasn't able to give you my all in a way because I was so mentally checked out or tired from having to handle all of those positions. And I'm not complaining at all. I'm just trying to put in perspective of what really goes on in this world, because people see what I've had a lot of people see in my life and think it's glamorous, and it's not really. I mean, like, this is a hard work. I work every day 24/7 pretty much. I mean, I have issues with my girlfriend, like, getting on to me because I'm on my phone. I'm researching. I'm communicating with clients. I'm trying to think of what I can do to get ahead or what I can do to stand out. Constantly progressing, constantly researching. The majority of my free time is watching YouTube videos, tutorials, lighting techniques, visual effects techniques, everything. I mean, I'm not just sitting here, you know, lollygagging around or just, you know, doing music videos and then goofing off. I mean, this is my life. I mean, I live and breathe this. This is what I want to do, and this is what I fight for. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing anything else, to be honest. For this other part of the video, I want to talk to people who may potentially want to become directors or are working in the video world and don't quite understand how it all works. And trust me, I was right there, and I didn't have anyone to really teach me or tell me what to do and what not to do. I kind of had to figure it out on my own. And at the time I started YouTube, there wasn't a lot of directors who really talked about things on YouTube, or at least I couldn't find them. I looked, but didn't have a lot of luck. Biggest things that I want to say about being a music video director is the equipment that you use. I know, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what I was saying with the bands. If you're gonna do this, do it right. Don't go the cheap route, because people notice, people see it. You know, like, invest in a good camera. And when I first started doing music videos, the camera I shoot on now wasn't available, and I was shooting on a DSLR, which are not bad, but my personal opinion, DSLRs, and you shouldn't be shooting video with it, especially music videos. If it's like interviews, or if it's like just something on the spot, that's fine. But when it comes to actual music videos, invest more into your equipment. Don't shoot with DSLRs unless it's, especially not Canon. I know that's kind of what everyone, that's their go-to, is the Mark II or the Mark III or the 60. They're great cameras, and their video quality is good for certain things, but it's not good for music videos. You can tell instantly. I can watch a music video and immediately pick out that it's a DSLR. No matter how good the coloring, no matter how good the lighting, anything, I know immediately it's a DSLR. But that brings me to what I'm shooting on now. I mean, this is the 2.5K Blackmagic, and I got it the first year that it came out, or it was the second, I don't know. But yeah, maybe the second. But anyway, this camera cost, I think, less actually than the Mark III. Yeah, it's less than the Mark III, and it's maybe a little bit more than the Mark II. It's $2,000. But the thing is that this camera is amazing for what it does. I mean, the video quality is just outstanding. It blows my mind that, like I said, videographers will go and buy a Mark III for music videos when this camera is so available for $2,000. So I think that's, as I said, I think that's the better route, personally. And they even make a pocket cam. The pocket camera for Blackmagic is $1,000, so it's even cheaper. And that it also is incredible. It looks almost exactly like this, and I do believe that it shoots 1080p in RAW, and which, if you also get the DaVinci Resolve, which they have a free version of that in Light, you can do incredible things with that. So one of the biggest things that I want to touch on is management. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. I'm just going to kind of give an example of something that I went through personally, so that way maybe you can avoid the situation because it could happen to you very easily. I think that a good manager is somebody who is willing to fight for you no matter what. They should go to bat for you every single day. That's their job. I mean, they get a percentage of what you make, so you would think that they would. Well, some of the issues is that some managers don't necessarily believe that. They see you as dollar signs, and they personally are just trying to get you work so they get paid. I mean, I understand that's their job, but the thing is that you really want a manager who will fight for you, because if you get one who doesn't and he sees you just as money, you're going to run into a lot of issues. For example, I had one who got me an awesome job. He got me a video with Rise, but the issue is that he wasn't in my corner, and I lost another music video as well. And I think just because he wasn't there to bat for me, and one of his other directors that he was managing ended up getting the video. So that was, to me, very sketchy, especially since I was already in the process of picking the team in LA to do this music video. But the other issue I had was, and this is just no joke, I was doing the music video for Rise, and it was kind of a last minute thing. I got approved the day before the shoots. It was on a Sunday, no rentals were available or anything. It was kind of chaos at first. And the music video went great and all this kind of stuff, but after the music video was over, it was the process of handling with the label. I had no real contact with Rise, and the manager was handling everything. And I just don't think he took it very seriously, because he was very lighthearted with trying to get everything happy with Rise, and I think that just, to me, didn't seem very professional, and I felt like the entire time that I wish that I was communicating with them, because he wasn't doing a very good job. Well, he disappears, and this is no joke. It's a month and a half, and he has completely vanished, and we're right at our deadline of when the music video was supposed to be done. I have no real way of contacting Rise. I was trying to get a hold of them, and I get an email from Rise, and they tell me that he got arrested. And I have no idea how, and I'm not going into much detail. I'm just saying you really have to be careful. You have to watch the people, really get to know who they are, really see if they click well with you and if they're willing to do anything to make you successful. And that's kind of it. I mean, this industry is very shady in some sense. So that's a very big important thing. So when it comes to carrying yourself as an actual videographer or director or photographer, even in that matter, one of the biggest things that I notice is that in this generation, people post everything about themselves. They post their negative, their negative stuff in their life and all that. To me, that comes off unprofessional. I think when you're somebody of that stature, you need to carry yourself a little more professional. You need to keep your personal opinions and personal life off of social media. To me, it's just kind of like a cry for attention, and it just comes off very unprofessional. Stay positive, post the things that you're working on. Don't be afraid to, if you're working on something new and you just want people's opinion, post it. Like, don't be scared. I mean, there is no wrong answer to doing anything in this industry. It's art. You're supposed to explore and you're supposed to figure out what works and what doesn't. And the only way that you can do that is by posting it. I mean, I know that you get nervous and you're like really scared people are going to tear it apart, but the thing is that how are you going to learn if you don't at least go for it? I mean, you're in the art world, so it is very risky and scary, but you have to be able to just do it. Just, not to quote Shia LaBeouf here, but you have to actually be fearless in this industry. You have to not care about the people that are going to be negative just to be negative, because they're always going to be that person who's like, oh, that's awful. You post a music video on YouTube and there's always that guy who's just like, oh, this is cliche or anything like that. Just ignore all of that stuff, because it's just, there's always going to be somebody. You cannot please anyone. I mean, everyone. I mean, you cannot please everyone in this industry. This is never going to happen. And I get that when you're nervous to post something. I get nervous every single time I post something. It's like a mixture of nerves and it's a mixture of excitement. I'm just really stoked, and I'll post it and I'm like just waiting for people to respond on it and waiting for people to comment or like it or just anything. And when it's positive, it's positive. When it's negative, it's negative. I mean, in my opinion, it's great either way, because if someone actually says something, constructive criticism towards your piece, you can actually see what you need to work on. And that, to me, I love that. I'm not one of those guys who get butthurt when someone says, oh, maybe if you lit it this way, it'd be better. I actually take that into consideration and I look into what they're saying, and a lot of the times it actually improves what I am working on. So that's one of the big things. Don't be concerned of what other people think. Just take it in a positive light, and it should come out okay. So that's all I would like to talk about in this video, and I would like to start doing a lot more of these and maybe even some tutorials. So if there's questions you have about editing, visual effects, or even lighting, even maybe how to manage your time or how to set up a shoot, anything like that, please don't be afraid to ask in the comments or contact me on my social media, anything like that. I strongly believe that this is a family unit when it comes to, doing video work. I think that if everyone worked together and communicated together, things would run a lot smoother. But anyway, that's really all I would like to talk about. So like I said, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask, and thank you for your time.